Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone who is in our digital audiences joining us today. As you know, we are celebrating 11th February, which is the International Day of Women and Girls in Science, and we're particularly excited to be celebrating very talented Pakistani women, one of whom is Dr. Miriam Gomez. How are you, Miriam?
I'm well, thank you, Ramla.
Miriam, thank you so much for taking time out of your very busy day and helping me celebrate you, helping us showcase amazing, talented women in Pakistan. Miriam, I am pretty sure I'm not going to do justice to your introduction. So for the purpose of, nailing it, can you please introduce yourself?
Well, I don't have big introductory lines, but I'm Miriam. I'm working as a Deputy Director at NUST International Office. Along with that, I have teaching responsibilities where I'm an Assistant Professor in the teaching stream at Ataur Rahman School of Applied Biosciences. I take undergrad classes, and that's my introduction. It's no hi-fi thing. As for my background, I've done a PhD in genetics, and my research area was focused on a very particular kind of ovarian cancer. And the major area was to understand and study why women stop responding to certain treatments after a length of time. So that's what I did previously. And now I've moved towards management, where I deal with people from the embassies or from public offices, trying to understand what would be the best way to collaborate with other universities, organizations, or anyone in the outside world, and how we can connect them to students at NUST, and we can benefit in one way or the other. But what got me interested in science was my parents' outlook towards life. So just an example, हम लोग हर गर्मियों की छुट्टियों में the first day of the vacation we used to go to Murray. So I belong to a very middle class family. My parents are teachers, they work in schools, and every time we would go, my father would ask this question, ये क्यों है या ऐसा क्यों हो रहा है? So if you go to Murray, the roads sort of turn towards the inside, and that was one of his pet questions. Every year, same question. And we would actually discuss, not knowing physics at that point. We used to, guess why this is so. The next one was, why are the crows so large in Murray? Why are they so different from the kavas in, Rawalpindi? Why is there a size difference? Then how does it become colder? Why is altitude changing? Kaan kyun band ho rahe hain gaadi mein chalte hue? So those questions sort of, piqued my curiosity. So I never had a very definitive role model कि मुझे इसकी तरह का बनना है या ऐसा बनना है, because I don't remember reading about those models in the textbooks or being able to talk to such people at the time when I was studying. I got the chance to talk to such people at my university, yes. But before that, I was just like a rolling stone. I was following what what the socially, or whatever was socially acceptable. Medicine kyun padhni hai? Because I want to be a doctor. That was it. That was the main goal at that point. And during my bachelor's, I started understanding okay, there's a lot more to life than just medicine. I stumbled into applied biosciences as my basic degree because I couldn't get into, a medical college or a dental college. So it's, I think it was just luck for me. As far as role models are concerned, I think a lot of people have played a part, not just my parents, my friends, the social circle I had, the importance my parents put in knowing things, and how they sort of pushed us to, explore. I was never a very good student. I was an average student, but I think it's the, the push that you get. Yeah, pucho. Whatever question, whatever silly question you have, just go ahead and ask. You won't be rebuked for it. You won't be laughed at. So that, I think that environment makes you want to know more. I would say that would be the main.
There's so much to be said about that, exactly, because if you have the freedom to ask questions, you have the freedom to make mistakes, and then you have the freedom to learn from those mistakes. And that's sort of the process that people don't realize, that when they snub people from asking questions, they halt the learning process right there.
Well, I was lucky enough to have a very good support system, I guess, and that helped me be me. Whenever I think about the word enabler, I don't know, it's going to sound really silly of me, but I always think of my mother. She never said कि बच्चे इस उम्र के बाद आपने शादी करनी है, या think of life that will end in शादी. So we never had this कि ये काम करना आना चाहिए, because it's going to help you later on in life when you're married and you have to feed children and you have to look after a husband. My family environment was, you need to know this because you need to live a life of your own. And for me, I think that has been one of the biggest enablers in my life, where I was allowed to, or allowed is the wrong word, but I should say that I was not ever stopped, to dream of, bigger things. अगर मैं घर आके कह रही हूँ I think मुझे ये कर लेना चाहिए, my parents would be like, oh हाँ आओ देखते हैं कि ये कैसे होगा या ये कैसे करना है. When I came and said कि मैंने ये feel लेनी है, yeah, I am going to go with this bachelor's program, they never questioned me. They said, do you like it? Do you like the subject? Are you interested? I was like, yes. I did not know what virology was at that point, just the basic definition. That was it. I did not know what the scope was, which when I think about it, it seems really, a stupid step to take. But they've never discouraged me whenever I dream about things, or when I, make plans. कि अब मैंने PhD करनी है, कहाँ से करनी है, I don't know. किस फील्ड में करनी है, इस फील्ड में करनी है. Are you sure? Yes. No one's ever told me to stop. And the same has been with my friends, where they have, they have the support system. I don't know if you've gone through the same process or not, but I was very random with my applications. I did not know better. And because of that, I had to face a lot of rejections. So every time a rejection letter would come in, I'd be like, oh no, ye ho gaya hai. Aaj I got rejected from this flani badi university, and I don't know how to deal with it. Being in a household where everything is about education or knowing stuff, it was a big thing for me. हर जगह से आपको एक rejection आ रहा है. मुझे वो validation शायद चाहिए थी from the outside world. I'm not saying that that's a good thing, but that was something that I wanted at that point of time. But whenever I used to get a rejection letter, I'd be like, ab kya karu? My parents would be, koi baat nahi. But my friends, we celebrated each and every big rejection letter. So I got selected for this HEC program, and I had scholarship and everything was ready. I only had to get admitted in a university in US. So when I got the rejection letter, it was the 1st of April, actually. And I went in and I was like, मुझे rejection letter आ गया है कल रात को, and I'm so upset, और ये वो. And one of my friends was like, chalo, theek hai, let's celebrate. And we went out to, the most expensive place where we could actually eat and where we would not have to wash the dishes. But we celebrated that thing. And when I look back, I think that's what gives you the courage to go on. And as far as science side of enablers is concerned, I have been very lucky that I have people who supported me in whatever I did. They didn't, I wouldn't say that they guided me to a specific, place, or they didn't direct me कि यही वाली चीज आपको करनी चाहिए. But whatever I did, or whatever I took to them, this is something I want to apply to, would you be kind enough to write a recommendation letter? I was never let down by those people. So I would definitely point out one of the teachers, well, actually two, um, Dr. Faraz and Dr. Hajra. So they wrote recommendation. I don't know how many. I cannot even start counting. But they've written so many recommendation letters for me. And for me, that was something that motivated me to, keep on going. So I would say a good support system. I was lucky. I'm not saying that everyone is this lucky, but yeah. Whenever we talk about hurdles, the first thing I would point out here is that there are a lot of hurdles that we ourselves place in front of us. They can be, emerging from a personal bias or a social bias. Like I remember telling it to my class fellow that this is what I'm applying for this and this program. And the response that I received to this day, it still, makes me feel really bad about myself that I chose to, go after a career. She said that her parents love her too much to, send her away. And when I got back, I asked my parents, like, do you feel bad that I am opting for a career and, I'm thinking of going out of the house or, being away for a very long time? Does that bother you too much? Because, you still have some affiliation with your parents, and even if you have a lot of fights. But I remember what my mother said is that they've worked so hard, they've given up on a number of their dreams just so we can pursue ours. So she said that even though I love you, I cannot define that love, but I will never stop you from reaching out. And I think that is, a bias. Now, when I think about it, I feel that that's a bias that I would have put in front of myself, or a problem that I would have, made for myself. So at times we just feel that we need to do this. That's it. We don't really communicate, or we don't really talk to our parents or the people who matter to us कि आया ये ठीक भी है कि नहीं, क्या मैं ये समझने में ठीक हूँ, क्या आप चाहते हैं कि मैं ऐसे करूं. If they say yes, then obviously that's a clear cut thing that you have your कि हाँ वो उनकी ऐसी सोच है and I need to respect them. Even then, you have to make a decision whether you're going to go with what they've decided for you, or you're going to let them know that this is what you want for yourself. But then that's a social problem more than a personalized issue. So I think that is one of the things that I've been very scared of all my life, and to this day I am. Whenever I am making a plan, I like to include my parents. I do talk to them. I like to include my sister and talk to them about, or my parents and my sister about, well, I'm thinking about this. Does it affect you negatively? Because it matters to me. And if they say that it does, then I, would reconsider my options and try to align my, dreams and wishes according to that. But that's again my own personality. Isme kisi aur ka koi haath nahi. But I think that's one of the biggest hurdles that we have. The second one, I shouldn't put it on the second. I should put it at 1A and 1B शायद. It's कि हमारे पास awareness नहीं है about specific scholarships जो कि सिर्फ women scientists को support करने के लिए होती हैं. Now, whenever I used to talk about this, or like you said, you didn't really ask people much questions, right? So I was if I used to ask, a number of times the response that I used to get was कि सब ऐसे ही करते हैं, सबने इतनी मेहनत से की है, and हम चाहते हैं कि आप भी उसी process से गुजरें, instead of making things easier for me. This is one of the reasons why I have this idea कि no, I'm not going to make others' lives difficult or let them be the same. I want to be someone who would guide them as much as I can to the best of my knowledge, and then let them choose. But उस time पे मुझे लगता था कि अगर आप सवाल करें, then the response that you always get is कि ये ऐसा है, ये ऐसे करना है, अगर आप ऐसे नहीं करेंगे, then you're going to suffer, and that's the end of it. You're not allowed to go out of that dabba and do things for yourself. When I went, I found out that I could have applied to this scholarship. I could have applied to that scholarship. I could have applied for that. And because I was so stressed about scholarship, like my parents could not have supported my studies at all. It was like £21,000 per year just for the tuition fee. And I was like, living uske uppar hoga. That's something that I can, even to this day, I cannot imagine. But जब मैं अब स्कॉलरशिप का, जब मुझे पता है कि देयर आर सर्टेन स्कॉलरशिप्स जो कि सिर्फ और सिर्फ खवातीन के लिए हैं, लड़कियों के लिए हैं, फॉर पीपल इन, फॉर women in science, that is something that I feel that we don't have in Pakistan. We don't have that knowledge in Pakistan. और अगर कोई दे भी रहा है, people start charging for it, and that's something that I'm completely against. If I know about something that can benefit you or someone else, even if I can avail it, I would still want people to, be able to participate. That idea of what's that book? I don't know if anyone has read it or not. The Secret of Life, or
The Secret, I suppose. Yeah.
Whatever is yours is going to come your way.
Yeah.
Whatever is not, it's no matter what you do, you're not going to get it.
What is it that you do now? I know you mentioned that in your introduction a little bit, but I would like you to talk a little bit more about how you've pivoted from, core sciences to more of a managerial position right now, and how does it truly affect you and science in general as well, and the perception of science in Pakistan?
So I'll start with a backstory a bit. When I was doing my PhD, like before doing my PhD, I had never done anything related to, public engagement. Scientists, they have their own, space, and the world has its own place. That was the idea that was ingrained in me. ठीक है, कि scientists की जगह यहाँ है, लोगों की जगह यहाँ है. Both of them cannot mingle. They have to be separate. When I was doing my PhD, because of the scholarship that I had from the University of Edinburgh, they asked me to go and volunteer with head nurse who was involved in clinical research, to go to a mosque and talk to Pakistani women about ovarian cancer. So she was supposed to do that in English, and I was supposed to do that in Urdu. That was just a general idea that we came up with before I started my PhD, because they said that I have to be involved in public engagement and science communication. So this is something that my supervisor and I came up with before we started. And I was very, into it. Yes, baat karenge, ye karenge, or it never happened because we never got the permission wahan pe, or problems there. But while we were preparing for that, I also got, talking to another person at our university. So she was a public engagement officer. She had done a PhD in biosciences. And what they used to do is that he used to bring people in, like random people. They had specific groups. For example, high schoolers aa rahe hain, retired log aa rahe hain, ya donors aa rahe hain. And we used to take them into our labs, show them all these, छोटे-छोटे experiments के ये cells होते हैं, cells ऐसे दिखते हैं, cancer cells ये होते हैं, why are they important? और उससे आपको पता चलता है कि there's so much to give to the public, there's so much to give to the people. I once attended a genetic society event where I had to explain, the genetics of hair color and skin color to a 6-year-old. And the same day I had to explain it to a 60-year-old. The same day I had a conversation to a woman who had had breast cancer. And for me, all those experiences over that period of 4 years, that was an eye-opening, that was just mind-boggling. कि लोग आपकी बात सुन रहे हैं और समझने की भी कोशिश कर रहे हैं. At the same time, in my head, while the wheels were turning, I had to make my speech, or I had to talk in a way that's also understandable to, the general public. उनको ये cells की समझ नहीं आएगी. What cell? Do you mean a battery? What do you mean by a cell? तो वो चीजों के बारे में सोचना that made me understand कि इतना ज़रूरी है कि हम लोगों को बताएं कि scientists are not Martians. They're not from a different world. So I came back to Pakistan with an idea कि मुझे ये काम करना है, मुझे science communication में जाना है. I feel that it has given me a chance to talk to so many people about science communication. People in HEC, people at NUST, people in different embassies, and being able to talk to people about it, it opens up their minds to a new possibility that can happen. So I was so happy, like I think it was a week ago or so, they are making a new science and technology museum in Islamabad. And it's a space, it has this whole theme of space, and I'm elated. I just can't wait for it to open and go and see what they have in store. So those are the kind of things that I look forward to working in future, or working for in future. But for now, I'm just glad that I have this place of privilege where I am teaching students, and at the same time, I can connect to people in the management.
You serve as a conduit between, like you said, the shell that most scientists survive within and the rest of the world. And with that, Miriam, thank you so much for sharing part of your day with us. I'm sure everyone who's listening, whenever this goes online, has probably the same thing in their minds right now that I have, that I learned so much from you. And I really, really look up to you. You are, mashallah, a very inspiring person.
It was nice talking to you. Have a nice day.
Bye.